fellow nerds, we are talking the Bad Batch, the Harbinger. Very ominous.
Very good name for it, though.
It was.
That is like a warning, right? That's what a harbinger
is. Oh yeah, yep. The Harbinger of Doom.
And unfortunately,
not the Harbinger of Sorrow.
Even though it didn't happen this episode, I think how easily Asajj found them.
Oh yeah, and she even said that.
Yeah, is definitely a harbinger of doom for Palpatine.
And we already saw it in the trailers. We know that that planet is going to be under attack, so it's only a matter of time.
Not even a planet, maybe just that small island they hang out on.
The whole planet, Keith. All of it.
Oh, Attack on Show said trigger warning.
Oh, did he actually watch it yet?
I do believe he did.
Okay.
I know I don't know if he's not so happy that Asajj showed up again. Only because not that they haven't shown how she came back. Just because no one ever stays dead. And that really can be a problem. The only way I look at it is she is from Dathomir. And if you read the actual book, when she dies, she's put in this water of life thing, and you see some magic coming up, and you see some other things. So I don't know if that's how they're going to address her being alive again, because obviously bloodlines happened.
Well,
prior.
Where does Batman go to be reborn? Or Ra's al Ghul? Where does he go?
The Lazarus Pit.
Lazarus Pits.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got the other on the back tank. So you'll never really die. I mean, that's why I hope, they got to bring Cad Bane back because he was completely awesome on The Mandalorian. But yeah, it does suck when there's absolutely when there's no I said absolutely. So it does suck when there's no consequences, no actual consequences. When like Jango Fett should come back now, but even though he had his head chopped off, he should probably come back.
Well, he's everywhere.
They stuck his head in the back to tank.
Yeah. They stuck his head in the back to tank and regrew his body.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be like Deadpool.
Yeah, Attack on Show did say a big fan of Dark Disciple. I called it Bloodlines, and it is Dark Disciple. It really was a perfect ending. It felt like Asajj completed, her redemption arc by sacrificing herself at that point. And this does definitely makes that ending not as heavy, not as deep, not as, her giving herself up for Quinlan Voss. So I definitely get it. It was good seeing her though in the show. Can I
admit something, and you all can take nerd points away from me?
Oh yeah, of course.
I have not read a single Star Wars novel. Not one. Not a single one.
That's all right.
Let me go
I've
to
read
the
the
board.
comics.
Let me go to the board, take a few points off over here.
So every time somebody gets, all up in arms about some story that was in a book that they read and it's very important to them, I'm not denying that. I'm sure that it is, and I'm sure that it was a good story to you. I haven't read any of them. I don't know any of the stories from any of the novels. I've heard that the Ahsoka book was really good and that they didn't really follow that anymore. And some people even said at the time, like, it was supposed to be a canon story, and now all of a sudden they're changing things, like with their lightsabers or something. I don't remember. But
yeah.
And then, of course, every other week you got to hear about where's my Mara Jade, and, there's...
And Attack on Show said Dark Disciple is the only one I've read because they said it was canon and from unused Clone Wars scripts. Yeah, that was.
I think I do. I remember hearing about that it was supposed to be in the Clone Wars. Yeah. So, yeah, okay. That's fair.
For show arc.
And it's funny because I've read thousands of Star Wars books. I read all the Timothy Zahn books when I was in the Marines. I used to get made fun of because I'd be sitting there like on night watch reading Star Wars books. Maybe like, nice book, nerd. I'm like, yeah, just shut the fuck up. Oh, I shouldn't. I'll have to bleep that out.
Look, we all have our vices. Yeah, you read, Star Wars books. I watched terrible Ghost Rider sequels. We all do horrible things on Firewatch.
That's right. We all do things. But I haven't read many lately, and I bought the one. It's on my Kindle, the one with I can't remember what it's called, but it's a newer one with Luke Skywalker. I haven't read it yet. Sometimes I just, between this, the 9 to 5, the kids, and everything else, I just don't have as much time to read as I used to, and it makes it difficult. But let's get back to the show.
All right.
I did love the fact that she was able to just sneak right in under all the radar. Nobody noticed. She was definitely. They did not underpower her in any way. She could have easily
No one
killed
even
the
knew
Bad
that
Batch.
she was there.
Yeah. And she could have easily killed everyone in the Bad Batch if she wanted to.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And Omega found her doing just that.
Well, she held back a lot of her power too, though.
Yeah, most of it was just to protect herself while they were attacking.
Yep.
And kind of, she wasn't too nice to them. I mean, she roughed them up.
I got a
bit.
question about that.
Yeah.
So I thought the crew of the Bad Batch, I thought they had kind of understood that they were all, played during the Clone Wars, that, the Emperor was the one who was behind it all. Why were they saying, oh, she's a separatist, oh, she's a war criminal and everything, which, what, was she a war criminal? What war crimes did she commit?
She killed a ton of clones.
Well, yeah, that was war. Is that a crime? During war?
No, I guess it isn't.
Well,
But
She was just listening to the wrong people. That was her problem.
so,
Yeah,
and
no,
I did
dark
appreciate
side.
that. What's that, Dave?
I said she hung out with the dark side, man.
I don't think they're really aware of that, though. The clones seem to be kind of unaware of the whole, Force stuff. Most of them knew that those that served under Jedi, they were aware of the Jedi existence and that they used the Force, but I don't think they knew much more than that. I don't think they really understood the complexities between a Jedi and a Sith and, the dark side and light side stuff.
But they did. I mean, it was reported that she was an assassin too. She wasn't just a regular soldier. So maybe they kind of looked at it like that wasn't, proper wartime behavior. She was more sneaking in, murdering people. They don't understand the difference between a Sith and a Jedi. Probably, some of them might, like some of the clones who hung out with Jedis. But the Bad Batch never really hung out with Jedis. They were always doing their own little special missions. So very rarely did they see them.
That's why they're taking 14 episodes to explain that M count is midi-chlorians, whatever those could be.
And honestly, did everyone fully? I mean, the clones and especially the Bad Batch knew that once they became the Empire, it became bad. But I don't think it was ever common knowledge that Darth Sidious was playing both sides during that whole time. They just think the Republic won and became the Empire, and the Separatists were still, the instigators or the bad guys during that whole war. Because I don't think it's common knowledge that.
It may not be around the galaxy, but I thought they had worked that out. I remember them in, I think, season 1 discussing it. And that's why they've been working with that one separatist senator and with, what's her name, the blue senator.
I thought it was just because they knew that the Empire was now kind of keeping people under its thumb and.
Maybe. I guess I'll have to go back and watch both other seasons.
Oh, shit.
What a shame.
Because when they were doing the
Over
chain
yourself.
codes and everything, but maybe they did find out when they were working with some of the separatist senators that they were all played. You'd think the top 3 most wanted would be Dooku, Grievous, and Visage. Yeah, true.
Yeah. And
Or,
wherever that Anakin guy went, they've been looking for him.
Or Savage Press. Savage
Savage.
Press.
R.I.P. Savage. R.I.P.
Look, he's up there driving his monster truck in the sky.
He was just minding his own business before that witch got to him. Then she made him into something and he died.
And once again, I do think Omega's downfall at some point is going to be her trusting everybody, no matter what they come in. Her Batcher is like barking at Asajj. He's like, "Oh, I trust her. She seems nice." It's like,
Yeah.
who don't you trust?
Right? You're friends with everybody. You were
You can
still
have
trying to be
Palpatine
friends.
right there.
She was still trying to be friends with Crosshair after he was like, "I'm going to kill all of my brothers. I'm going to shoot them in the face." But we're brothers. We should be friends.
She's trying to run into the Emperor and go, "He seems nice."
Right.
He's like my
Yes,
grandfather.
I'm very nice. Oh, you're a good guy, Palps. Yes, I am. Good job, kid.
Yes, Attack on
You're
Show.
cloning
Aw,
me.
friendly little Sarlacc pit. You want me to come rub your beak? I'm just gonna go brush his teeth.
I'll be right back. Where's that crate dragon? Where's he at?
Right.
He just wants to rub under the chin. That sweet little crate dragon.
Oh Lord, she would be the one that
I just so misunderstood.
that monster worm thing that Han and Leia flew the Millennium Falcon in. She would be friends with it.
Yep.
All of a sudden, you see this giant like moon hurtling towards the third Death Star. I'm taking my friend for a walk.
Looked like a big sperm whale. Anyway,
Right.
sorry.
We did get her being tested, which I always thought midichlorians were tested through the blood. I don't know if Asajj
Yeah.
was just messing with her, like, okay, let's do this. Or
I took it as she was kind of doing it old school, right? Instead of using, because they probably didn't have all of the gear like what they would have had in the latter days of the Republic, like what Qui-Gon had.
Qui-Gon had it though. Qui-Gon
Yeah.
had it in the Phantom Menace. He just stuck him, got his blood.
Yes, he did. I'm saying it was probably more convenient then, when the Jedi were still at their strongest. But I don't think that kind of stuff is just available at the local, get your death sticks and also your blood testing materials. So I think she was going more old school style. I think she was doing like, let's find out if if you can balance, if you can like reach out to the world, kind of like and I know Dave, this is your favorite movie, but kind of like in The Last Jedi when Luke was doing his kind of bullshit tests with Rey. That's the way that I took it. It was kind of like I think it was sort of maybe part. I don't really know if it's if this will do anything, but also, well, let's just see, where this kid reaches out to. Is she gonna go to the dark, go to the light, that kind of thing?
Attack on
you
Show
know what
makes
I
a good
thought
point
was
too. He
that-
says, or she could just sense it and is confirmed.
Oh, that's good.
That
Yeah,
kinda
that's
goes-
that's true.
That kind of goes to my point too, like where she heard that this kid has a high M count from Fennec, because she's getting the story. Now she's hearing this. She wants to find out where this kid sits, not whether she's going dark or light, just how much power she actually has. That's what she wanted to find out.
Yeah, and the only
you know
BS
what,
test
that-
was the second one, just to get her out of the cave so she could deal with the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
You
Well,
yeah, that's definitely
You got to
what
get
that
that flower by sundown. But it's almost sundown already.
was. Well, you better get going. Oh, she freaking got it though.
Well, she cheated. She used Batcher. I mean, would have been cooler to use Quinlan instead of her for this. I don't disagree because watching this now and knowing Quinlan and Asajj's relationship, I think they're going to basically smuggle Omega. I think the entire Bad Batch is going to be killed by the end of this, probably freeing other clones from Mount Tantus. And I think
Probably.
Quinlan and Asajj may sneak Omega out through the Jedi Underground Railroad or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called now. But I think they're going to sneak her out through there. And I think she is going to be basically smuggled out into someplace safe, and she's going to be training, under other Force users. I don't want to call them Jedi, but she's probably going to be training with either Quinlan Vos or Asajj or someone else post the Bad Batch.
By the way, I am so thankful that Asajj made that made a point of that to say, when when Omega said, so does that make me a Jedi? And she goes, no, training is what will make you a Jedi. Now we need to find out if you can use the Force. That's a distinction they don't make enough, I think, just to say, oh, the person has the Force, therefore they are a Jedi. And it's like, no, being a Jedi is all of, that comes from the training, that you get. Like, that's why now that, that's a little bit more clear, obviously, I'll give George Lucas a little bit of slack. He hadn't had it all worked out back then, but, in the second movie, Luke already calling himself a Jedi. It's like, are you though?
We had some training. Remember, Obi-Wan had that little
Oh,
thing
yeah.
shooting
He
him?
got shot by that ball that was floating around his head. He got shot by that ball a couple
And
of times.
He didn't turn on the lightsaber while he was looking down the barrel. So, he had his training. He did a lot of good
All
stuff.
you gotta do is start training.
Yeah, you need to jump around the jungle for a day. Right. Yeah, there you go.
All you gotta do is
jump around a jungle, then you're a Jedi. That's how it
just
works.
begin your training. You don't have to complete it. Just begin your training, and you will be a Jedi.
No, you don't even need to begin it. Just like say, you know what? I'm going to train eventually. That's it.
Yeah, I'll get to it once after you start calling me Jedi.
Look, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Like I just got a subscription to, that CD delivery service in the mail, and I mean,
Columbia House.
getting my Columbia House delivery. God, I gotta pick out my CDs.
I guess that makes Sabine Wren a Jedi. She has started the training.
Did she? Yeah, there you go. Now she just needs to. Oh wait, no, she did jump around in the jungle, kind of. Or does a forest count? Yeah, I think that
forest.
Counts.
Yeah, a forest, a swamp. Somewhere with trees.
Yeah, there you go. Somewhere with trees. There we go.
And remember too, Omega trained with the Wookiees.
There you go. Trees.
She did her meditation, so
she's already a Jedi Master. I mean, we're skipping right past night.
Wookiee monster.
He's ready to have a seat on the council.
An Attack on Show. I don't know. Rey doesn't need any training, and she's more powerful than anyone. Well, there was some definitely.
Well, she did train in that Lost third movie. She did some training.
Third?
Remember that Lost
third movie?
Yeah, and then
when did they make that?
Third trilogy. I don't know. I heard rumors.
Oh. Interesting. Well, it'd be good to see it when it comes out.
Yeah.
But I did.
God, I wonder who they'll get to be the bad guy.
They're taking their time with this one. They're really thinking this one out.
I really hope they don't screw the pooch. I hope they kind of really lean in to Kylo Ren. I think he's going to make an excellent villain, just really unhinged.
Oh, that's going to be great. They're really going to.
Yeah.
We got the Skywalkers, and they're going to be taking on the unhinged Kylo Ren villain. Oh, it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, it'd be great.
They should make up a new force power that when you reach behind your back, you can pass your lightsaber to somebody across the universe. Wouldn't that be cool?
I don't know, Dave. That sounds kind of dumb. I don't think they should do that.
Oh, come on. That's so cool. Get out of here.
Well, when you're that powerful, you can do crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think
when you're omnipotent.
Want them to kiss. Ugh. See, that's goddamn internet. They ruined Star Wars. I swear to God. It's just people now kiss.
They wanted the MTV's Best Kiss Award. That's what they wanted.
Ew.
Wait, did they win?
No, I don't know.
Good.
But that was just so cringe. Wait, it didn't happen. That's right. This is all speculation.
Right. Speculation. Let's talk about good Star Wars, like the Bad Batch.
And,
yeah, let's get back to that.
We got a how do I want to say this? We once again found out through Star Wars that there's always a bigger fish.
Literally.
Reel it in. That show wants you to reel it in. But it was, I really thought, and I'm glad they didn't do that. They are not rushing Omega to be able to control
her
Force
development.
and do all those things,
I'm glad they didn't either.
When she was out there, I'm like, oh, please don't let her have all these fish come dancing and do these synchronized swimming things at her command. And it was great, Asajj basically saved her. She of course, trust her, Bad Batch. You're making it worse. She can solve it. And she ended up taming the beast. But it was nice. There was no her all of a sudden coming into her power, because I did think they were going to be oh,
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden this trauma happens and she's in danger and it's going to bring the Force out in her and she's going to start doing it. And they didn't do that. And I thought that was the right decision. And you saw at the end, I thought at the end it was great the way Asajj explained it to the Bad Batch that she is Force sensitive. When she was like, well, if she was, she would be taken away from you to train.
Right.
And they were like, okay, I get it. Thank you. It was really.
Oh, I get it. You're gonna babysit her. No, Wrecker. Oh, God. Okay.
She couldn't just stand in the boat. She has to step one foot off on the little platform. Well, of course, you can't meditate unless you're on that little platform holding out to. You don't. It's like Wi-Fi. You don't want any of that wood from the boat to be, wrecking the signal.
Yeah. The Force signal. I think it's a little touchy. She had to put some tinfoil on her head and reach out her arms and walk the plank. Everyone knows that.
Flows through everything, don't you know?
No.
I was afraid. I was afraid of the same thing, Keith. I really thought that they were going to use this moment to oh, look at Omega. She's she's discovered her true powers and abilities. And I'm sitting there thinking, honestly, the first thing that crossed my mind was she doesn't need another pet. She's good. We don't need them trying to shove a goddamn Kraken into their ship now with Batcher.
We need a bigger ship.
Release the Kraken! Just Qui-Gon comes back for one scene and says that.
You don't understand. We're friends. No, Omega, you've got to leave her behind.
How will she survive without me?
How does anybody survive without you? They'll find a way.
But I like Asajj's yellow lightsaber. That was pretty cool.
Yellow.
It's funny because we didn't see a lot of yellow lightsabers during
The Clone Wars?
The Clone Wars, the OT, the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice we're seeing them. You saw them in the Old Republic games and stuff, and now you're starting to see them. And I saw a theory on why we didn't see them and why we are now, and I liked it. They said just the Jedi Temple guards in the Clone Wars, yes. And they said that people with the yellow saber were more into knowledge of the Force, light and dark. And they were more susceptible to be turned to the dark side. And so they basically kind of stopped when they were doing the whole Padawan lightsaber building. They kind of kept kids away from being yellow because that would lead them down a possible dark path, which once again shows the Jedi being this overall, we're the guardians of peace and we're great. They do things that aren't necessarily on the up and up. If somebody's true calling was a yellow lightsaber and they actually kind of push them away from that, you can see why, they were so full of themselves by the time of the Phantom Menace that a Sith was able to basically, pretty much destroy them all.
Your sad devotion to that religion.
Right, Mr. Was that Grand Moff Tarkin said that?
No, that was the guy that Vader choked. And Tarkin told him to stop.
Was it General Veers?
Nope, it was in the New Hope.
Oh, right. That's right. When they were when he talked about Emperor disbanding the Senate.
Yep.
Yeah. Look at us nerds knowing that stuff.
Hey-o. And now she left. Obviously, they need to start preparing to get out of there because they're so easily found. They're going to have to really take the steps. I think we know they don't, since we have seen the invasion of Pabu in the trailer, like Doug was talking about earlier. So they're going to be on the run. Are they going to... I keep feeling we have 2 episodes next week. So I feel
You think it's going to be the invasion and their escape?
Yes. And I think this is when they start kind of gathering clones.
Like infiltration and extraction, perhaps?
Sure.
Wasn't that a few episodes ago?
Sure was.
Yeah, we're doing it again.
I do believe it was, 6 and 7. What are the next 2 episodes called? I meant to look that up.
Invasion and Escape. No.
One of them is called Your Mom. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, Ryan Airy. So I've got a theory about Omega.
Well, Doug's the name of his dog, you know.
What's
Ryan
that?
Airy's dog, his name is Doug.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So he stole that too.
he
He
sure
stole one
did.
of our names. He steals our material and he steals our names.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. We don't want a lawsuit here, even though we can.
Allegedly. I've got a theory for you.
Okay, let's hear.
So, Dave, prepare your reel.
Okay, it's over here.
Okay.
Cast. It's cast.
All right. So, here's what I think. I think, and this is based on a theory that I remember reading about, why can I never remember the name? Force Awakens. This is a theory that was in The Force Awakens, kind of explaining, or trying to explain, Rey's sort of use of the Force without her realizing it, like which would have made her kind of more attuned to it. So they're kind of implying in The Force Awakens that when what's his name is when God, I cannot remember any of their names. The stormtrooper, what's his name? Finn. When Finn is running towards her, she's subconsciously using the Force to basically get her own way, to get him to follow her, and that's why he seems so obsessed with her throughout the films. And it's because of some weird Force power that she's like manipulating him without him realizing it. What if? Because I was wondering this about the Bad Batch. They seem to go along with pretty much whatever Omega says. What if she's just really good at like convincing, like doing the whole these aren't the droids you're looking for.
She's subtly using the Jedi mind trick on him?
Yes. I think so. I think she is without realizing it. You have to let her try. Oh, yeah. You know what? I think she's right, guys. I think the literal child is correct. We should just, let the war criminal do whatever. Okay. Yeah, I don't see any problem with that.
I think
theory.
that's a great idea, but I don't think they'll do it. But I think I'm not going to reel that in. I'm going to leave the cast out there because that's a great idea, and that would take so much forethought. You would have
And you
to
don't think they did that
before season 1? No, I don't think so.
It's like, I mean, I can understand.
Would that mean I would have to reel that in? I don't know if I'm reeling that. I like the idea, so I don't want to reel it in, but I also don't think it's going to happen.
See, I
It seems like
want
there's
to watch
a lot of things that she's convincing them to do. Like, hey, we need to you guys need to forgive Crosshair. Oh, yeah, okay, sure. Hey, you know what? We need to, you need to let me bring this wild animal that I tamed aboard the ship. Sure, yeah, of course. You need to let me go on this mission. Yeah, obviously we need to let you go on this mission.
No,
of course.
but they do. But if it is a subtle Jedi mind trick she's using, occasionally they do say, no, you're not coming, because they wouldn't let her come when they went to get Fennec Shan to get that information. They were like, you can't go, it's too dangerous. But now I want to watch the whole series again to see how many times they gave in to a child and said,
right?
That's a good idea.
To me, it seems like it's happening a lot.
Attack on Show said they will retcon that 3 series from now. I hope not.
God.
I hope not. But that is a great theory because they do seem to go along with her.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I get they're roughly the same age, as they've just been, their aging has been sped up, but they're, roughly the same amount of years old, but they look more adult than her.
They've been through a lot.
They've been through a lot. They've been through war, so, it's like
she has not been through the Clone Wars like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? And David, thinking about what you said, they didn't plan that far ahead. They may have, because this was something that they had planned out well before, because they haven't really switched on Omega very much during the series. She's kind of been the same throughout. So they may have had, hopefully, I don't want to give any studio too much credit because they get that way, but hopefully they sat down and said, okay, this is the arc we need to go on. Now, they didn't have every episode written, but they're like, here's her character and how she's going to develop through this, and this is what we're going to do with the Bad Batch. And hopefully they had it all planned out and thought from the beginning. Because we knew Nala Se, she was a special clone. And that's when we all figured out, hey, guess what? She's force sensitive. She's the first,
Right.
Force sensitive clone way back in season 1.
Yeah.
And they seem to be going with that. I hope they're just not writing from the seat of their pants. Like, oh, she's a clone. Because we see what happens in Star Wars when they write from the seat of their pants. We get the sequel trilogy where it's just all over
Well,
the place.
Everything else on this show has been working out. I just don't think that they had had something like that set up. That's like really background stuff until they announce it. You know what I mean? And then you'll have to look back and say, "Oh my God, did they give in every time?" Like he'd say he's gonna go to go back and watch. I just don't think. I think that's more credit than
Giving them too much credit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That's
just
fair.
giving them
That
too
is
much
fair.
credit. I mean, they could definitely write a season arc and 4 episode arcs, but a 3 season arc, I don't know.
So that would be a fun short to make, Keith. If you went through and every time she suggests something that they should be saying no to, they agree to, and like just put a little counter in the bottom.
That would be a great short.
Do like a short for season 1, a short for season 2.
Tick, 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 tick,
Right.
tick, tick. And now, just so you know, I looked it up because I really want to know. The next episode is called Identity Crisis.
Oh.
What if this is Wolf who's having the identity crisis? Because we know he eventually ends up with Rex and Gregor. Maybe he's finally, Gregor. Maybe he is finally kind of starting to be like, whoa, what's going on? And maybe he's sent to Pabu to take care of it. And he's like, you know what? You're right. Why are we attacking a little girl who seems to have such control over the Bad Batch?
You know what? When she was talking to me earlier, I did what she said.
Yeah.
So.
And this, we may see some clones turning over to work with the Bad Batch, Rex, and Echo because of that. Because, that was a pretty compelling argument Rex made. Like, look at what we're doing. We're chasing the kid. We're warriors. We're, soldiers for the Republic Army. This isn't what we do. And hopefully, the only... Oh, Echo having an identity crisis attack on show?
In what way?
Yeah, that's...
I feel like he kind of already did, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's pretty much had that arc. I mean, I don't know what other identity crisis he could have, unless he's still trying to figure out what his place is. Maybe, okay, to Attack on Show's credit, maybe he's trying to figure out what he is if he can't be a sniper.
Well, Echo...
Like, if he can't figure out his handshaking thing,
That's Crosshair.
what else does he contribute? Who did he say?
Echo.
Echo. Oh, Echo.
He's
I thought
part
he's
man
dead.
and part machine. That guy.
Oh no, Tech is dead.
Yeah.
Echo. Yeah, I don't know. God, what kind of... Didn't he pretty much already come to terms with that though too?
I think he did. He is really with Rex and wanting to free, other clones and get everyone safe and stuff. So, no, I do think the episode after that, so we're getting Identity Crisis, which could be Wolf kind of figuring out, hey, this is wrong.
Be Asajj.
Well, I think she's kind of past her identity crisis too. She is, flipped from...
Omega. Omega's going to have the identity crisis now that she knows she might potentially be a Force user.
Yeah.
It's not as exciting, but
It's not
trying to
sexy,
think like
but it's got teeth.
trying to think like a show writer for a series.
And then we get Point of No Return. And that sounds to me like they basically are like, listen, we've got to storm Mount Tantus. Have fun storming the castle. Because, the Empire is going to be breathing down their necks. Once they find out where they're at and they kind of get any sort of read on them, they're just going to be nonstop trying to get back Omega, especially if the Emperor has figured out she's the one. She's the one who can solve your Project Necromancer crisis, which we know doesn't get solved until, 30 years later during, at some point in the sequel trilogy, if they ever finish that up. So, point of no return, maybe them like, listen, we've got to stop Mount Tantus. Because they're going to figure out at some point that the reason they want her with the M count midichlorians that she has is for a cloning process. And they're going to be like, we've got to destroy Mount Tantus. We got to free them clones. And that could be the second episode next week, the point of no return. There's nothing else we can or should do but stop what's going on at Mount Tantus. Because they know once we destroy Mount Tantus, they'll be going after Grogu, this other high M count thing. They'll be off Omega's back. They'll go after Grogu, and all that stuff going on.
Which show was it in?
Do they influence your thoughts on what may happen in these next 2 episodes?
So your question again, Dave?
I said, have you seen the names of the rest of the shows for the season? And if you have, do they influence what your thoughts were on the next 2 episodes?
Okay, so we got Identity Crisis and Point of No Return next week.
Yep.
And then Juggernaut. So for some reason, we're going to have a crossover with X-Men 97.
Yeah, that's all I'm not saying to
you. And then Into the Breach, Flash Strike, and the Cavalry has arrived.
I keep thinking the Cavalry show is going to be all Fennec Shan. We know why.
I think that's also thinking too deep, unfortunately. I get that it would be a fun little Easter egg. I doubt that they're thinking about that.
They're not making an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reference. No way.
No.
But it would be nice. It makes me smile every time I see it.
Of the series.
Because then I think of Ming-Na Wen, and I'm like, we stand.
Didn't The Mandalorian have an episode with the name Calvary, and you made the same assumption? It was either a Mandalorian episode or maybe an Obi-Wan episode or something like that.
I do remember saying that before, so I think we may have, yeah.
Because that was because I didn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so when you guys were telling me about it, I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that she was in that show as well.
I only watched like the first 6 episodes of that show.
The only episodes of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that I watched were for when we were making our Darkhold video, and I was watching the episodes that included the Darkhold. Shameless plug for our Darkhold In Focus.
One of our most watched videos. There's like 7,000 views on that video. So,
you know what was hilarious about that one?
It.
Wasn't that the one that YouTube thought had nudity on the thumbnail?
Yeah, you had the Scarlet Witch in it, and yeah, they kept.
She's not nude.
She's like Tobias from Arrested Development. She's never
nude. She's never nude.
He takes showers in his
in a bathing suit. Yeah. Oh yeah, didn't he wear jorts a lot?
He wore like Daisy Dukes.
Yeah. Oh, the show is ridiculous.
But honestly, you know what the Cavalry could be?
All of the clones, every one of them.
No.
And then every one of them get killed.
Quinlan Vos and Asajj Ventress.
And Ahsoka, and Sabine Wren.
No.
Probably not.
Because at this point they haven't met yet.
Yeah, and they wouldn't be able to explain. We haven't seen Quinlan Vos or Asajj.
And Obi-Wan Kenobi?
We've seen him, and he would have probably mentioned Omega. She's got to be with somebody who we don't know, because, Ahsoka would have probably mentioned if there was another Jedi possibly out there. Mm-hmm. So I do think it'll probably be Quinlan Vos and Asajj Ventress, and they take her and hide her away from the Empire.
Mace Windu.
Mace Windu? Yeah?
Yeah, he
coming
shows
back
up
with a robot hand and an eye patch.
Yeah.
Wait, Attack on Show figured it out. It's Wicket, the Ewok.
the teddy bear, yeah. God.
Yep.
Oh my God, we're pinned down. The Empire's going to take us out. Wait, what's that little teddy bear doing? Oh my God, he's throwing stones at the stormtroopers, taking them out. Go Wicket, go Wicket.
Ewoks have unusually long life cycles.
Oh no, the stormtrooper is confused. He's shooting at all of his teammates. He's not missing.
How did he have time to set up those giant tree branches to come and smash on the thing? He's the best at what he does. He's Rambo. Wait, who's Rambo? That's a different universe. Stop talking crazy.
Space Rambo.
Space Rambo.
We need Space Rambo.
Do they have? Okay, yeah, they do have TV because I know that they have the news. We know that
They have
there's like
hologram.
the Imperial. But do they have like just TV shows in the Star Wars universe? Like, do they ever just like veg out to like space Game of Thrones or something?
Yeah, they've never said, but I mean, what do normal people do all day?
I'm sure they do, yeah. I mean,
Milk
they're probably
blue cows? I don't know.
They're probably acting on a table in front of you instead of on a screen. But you get the idea.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the Star Wars Holiday Special. Excellent.
Oh yeah, the Wookiee watching VR porn. That's right. Oh, that's right. They did. And then the little Chewbacca's son was watching like infomercials. I forgot about that. Yeah. Okay. So I guess if the holiday special is canon, then yeah, sure, they've got TV.
It's definitely canon.
At least on Kashyyyk, anyway.
it's cannon fodder is what it is. Count it. Fadeaway jumper. Count it.
I do think it's funny. Attack on Show. Yeah, remember the Star Wars holiday special? Sure. Everyone remembers that. The thing that Lucasfilm has done everything in their power to hide.
20 minutes of.
Happy Life Day.
Happy Life Day.
That's from the Star Wars special.
I swear.
Come on, Dave.
Happy Life Day.
Hold on, I gotta take some nerd points off Dave.
I said right back to you. What do you want?
I
It's like
think
we're in a Catholic church. We just repeat stuff.
I think the very first time I learned what, like, I had heard of the holiday special, but the first time I learned of what the actual plot was,
Go plant
was
a tree.
it was from the Nostalgia Critic. If you guys remember that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, he did like a beat by beat, of every segment in the holiday special. I was like watching his video breakdown of it years ago, and I was like, "That's what it was about." Like, oh god, no wonder everyone hated it.
It was
And Harrison
god-awful.
Ford is like, I think I was on drugs. I don't remember it.
They paid me to say lines. I did it.
Right.
But should
yeah,
we
didn't they have what, Jefferson Spaceship? Is that the name of the band?
Jefferson Starship?
Starship, that's it. Yeah, didn't they have them on there literally because they have Starship in their band name?
Well, when did they went from Jefferson Airplane to Jefferson Starship?
Mid
Was it
80s.
before or after the holiday special?
It was after the
Starship,
holiday special.
Okay.
It was like 85. They switched to just Starship.
Ah,
Well, should we rate this episode, gentlemen?
I
Sure.
think so. Dave, you want to go first?
Yep. I'm gonna give it. Actually, I hadn't thought about a rating up until now, but like I've always said, this show nothing on this show deserves less than 5.
Mm-hmm.
While this was not my favorite episode, I did like seeing Asajj back and holding back instead of killing them, and showing a different side to her. I'm gonna give it a 6. I'm gonna give this episode a 6. What do you think, Doug?
I'm kind of around the same boat as you. It was a decent episode. I also liked seeing Asajj back. I like the fact that she's a lot more chill than she used to be. That she's kind of embracing both the light and the dark. You could tell like she was definitely. I would like to think that the whole her relationship with Quinlan Voss thing. I would like to think that has been canonized because she does seem to have embraced quite a few light side tendencies, at least in the way that she was acting. Like she wasn't really quick to anger all that often. She was just defending herself against the Bad Batch. She clearly could have hurt or killed them, and she didn't. I also like how when she was the one who was displaying her power, she did it to call all the little fish to her a very light side kind of move.
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoyed that, and I am glad that they didn't kind of rush Omega's development and suddenly make her, a Force superstar. Um, so yeah, I think I'm gonna give it it's about a 6.5 for me. It was fine. It was good. Wasn't like the most amazing thing, but it definitely moved the story along. It was again good to see Asajj Ventress, but yeah, it was fine. It was like a very stationary episode, and we got to see Mom and Dad fight.
And Attack on Show says 3 out of 10 don't like Asajj being back. Could have been anyone else, and it ruined an amazing story in Dark Disciple. I'm definitely not going to argue with you about that. I did enjoy this episode. Once again, we've had almost 2 back-to-back episodes that are textbook filler episodes, but they are moving the story along, and I think, finally getting that sort of confirmation from a Force user that she's definitely, Force sensitive. She hasn't. She's probably could be pretty powerful based on, now says everything they've done. So, I find
The
it
fact that
interesting.
she's literally been manipulating everybody around her.
That too. She's basically using Jedi mind tricks on everybody all the time. And it was just a really interesting episode to see, Asajj dealing with this kid. And basically, like, I don't know if in, like, the back of her head she's, should I take this kid? Is this going to be someone who could help us in a battle against the Empire? But then she almost sees that how attached the Bad Batch are to her and everything, and she almost pulls back. And I just thought it was a really interesting episode. It all on one little island, and all that happened between Asajj and the Bad Batch and Omega. I thought, definitely a filler episode, but I was definitely interested throughout. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I really hope.
All right.
I really hope. For one thing, the one thing I like too, one, she came out and said, listen, if I tell you the truth about how powerful she is, we're probably going to have to take her. And they were like, okay, we get you. But I like too, the little line when she was like, oh, I got many, many deaths left or many lives left. Can't remember exactly what she said. I'm glad she didn't come out and say, the reason I'm alive is because of this, this, and this, because that would have been weird. And the morning of, and I'm glad I didn't see it right away, but the morning of this episode, I want to read you the actual tweet from Star Wars, because I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. They know that people are going to be upset. Understandably, death should mean something. But Star Wars tweeted this out Wednesday morning, even before I watched the episode. How she survived will be revealed in future content. But for this story, we were thrilled to include her and explore her unique connection to and compassion for Omega.
In future content, so not necessarily a Bad Batch episode.
Right.
Correct.
Hmm.
So they
But she's
didn't
going
rush
to
to
become a character beyond the show.
Well, and are we going to get an announcement at the end of the Bad Batch that maybe we're going to get continuing?
Is this a backdoor pilot?
Exactly.
Okay.
So.
And yeah, Attack on Show, it is always about future content, and it can be annoying, but like, they're a corporation. They're trying to get their money back for the investment, I guess. I don't know.
Well, to me, is if you've got a good story, then I want to hear it.
Right, yeah, but if you're just doing it because you need to keep feeding the content machine, save it. So yeah, I hope it is good quality. I hope it's not just content for the sake of content.
Yeah, we don't need another Book of Boba Fett.
Ugh. That had potential. 3 of the episodes were good.
That's right. I will never understand why they would take a character who's like the most ruthless bounty hunter in the galaxy. Like when we heard we were getting the Book of Boba Fett, I don't know about you guys, I don't want to speak for you, but I was like, this is going to be just flat out, especially, he's going to be taking, he kills Bib Fortuna, he's going to be taking over the, I'm like, he's just going to be...
He's going to rule Tatooine with like an iron fist, yeah.
And he's going to be fighting off all these other gangs, and he's going to be doing all this stuff, and then it was... Let's go talk to the
Let's make
mayor.
a deal.
Are you gonna blast
Let's make a deal, Mayor. Let's write up some papers. What do you say, guys?
Attack on Show, but somehow Asajj Ventress has returned.
My only assumption, and I don't know, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but my only assumption is Disney was looking at it from a kids show point of view, not an everybody show point of view, where whenever you introduce a character that you're saying is a protagonist, you have to make sure that they don't do anything bad. That way you can label them as a good guy, right? So they can have Boba Fett out there, but they can't have him doing like criminal stuff. They can't have him going around shooting and killing and being a murderous bounty hunter, because they've already said, oh well, he's a good guy now. So now he's got to talk about his problems, and he's got to try and find a peaceful solution. And it's like, I understand why they're doing it. I don't like it. I think it's stupid, and I think we're all, the people who are watching this, I think we're all adult enough that we can handle bad guy Boba Fett.
We can handle.
I think we all wanted bad guy Boba Fett.
We can handle anti-heroes. We
Yeah.
all watched The Punisher and probably really enjoyed it.
There you go.
You don't have to, I know Star Wars is for kids. I understand that. But it doesn't all have to be for kids. You can make some more adult themed content. And Boba Fett was the perfect character to do it. Next, they're going to have a Bosk show where he's probably going to be, a kids' education show. Hey, it's counting with Bosk.
Yeah.
But the thing is, too, and, there's been so much talk about Asajj coming back. And, you liked it, you didn't like it. I'm not going to tell you who's right or wrong. I know Attack on Show isn't happy with it. Dark Disciple was a great, wonderful book. It was great. I really wish we would have got that whole, in the Clone Wars animated series, because that would have been great. But it seems like they do tend to bring back characters from Dathomir. Like if you would have told me Maul was coming back after the Phantom Menace, after he was cut in half in the Clone Wars, I'd have been like, that is ridiculous. I can't believe it. But the way they handled it was so well done, and I really enjoyed it. So, we're going to have to see how this all comes up, and when we do find out how she is still alive at this point. I hope it's well written. I hope it's thought out. But I am hoping they don't just bring back every character that's ever died, because death does have to have meaning. And I always liked when James Gunn was talking about Yondu after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And they said, is Yondu coming back? And he's like, he will never come back in anything I do. Because obviously he doesn't have control over what Marvel Studios is going to do.
Yeah.
But Yondu coming back would ruin exactly what he did in that movie, so you can't bring him back. And it does kind of ruin her sacrifice in the book. And there were people arguing on Twitter the other day. They're like, she's too good of a character to have die off in a book. And I'm like, that is a silly argument. Because if the books are canon, then characters should die and stay dead. You can't say, well, they died in a book, so let's bring her back.
It doesn't matter. It's not a real death because it was in a book.
Exactly. But I am thinking it's going to be her Dathomirian, heritage that somehow, because the passage, I wish, because correct me if I'm wrong, Attack on Show, when she died, Quinlan Voss put her in like this water of life, and they did talk about like the green magic kind of rising up and doing a few things, and at the time I just thought that was her, her death, like power coming out, something like that. But thinking about it, God, I need to reread it now. God, I got a lot of TV to watch and books to read. I do think it could have been some sort of keeping her body prepped for coming back, or some, I don't know. But I need to read it again and just to get the whole thing.
Hey fellow nerds, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. We try to do these live Sunday or Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep an eye on our social media to find out when you can join in live and chat with us during these live streams. Also, as usual, don't forget to check out our other social media. Add us at Twitter, comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here on Not Your Status Quo.